Welcome to The Author's Journey with #1 international best-selling author and in-demand publisher, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter. Today, we'll showcase the works of an amazing best-selling author, find out the story behind their book, and explore ways to bring your message powerfully forward. Now, here's your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to connect in with you on the author's journey, where we talk to amazing best-selling authors and experts in the field and in the industry, where they pull back the curtain and have real, candid conversations with us, what it was really like to bring their book forward, what they discovered, what they learned, what surprised them, what was amazing about it. So today we have an amazing author who brought forward a book that was all in one language. It was all in French, and decided to do a best-selling campaign through Amazon where a lot of the reach was in English. And so it was really a powerful experience, I know, for her, for the authors, of having her book received internationally around the world so powerfully, when originally we had concern if it's all in French and that we're not sure enough of the market space will respond and have it become a bestseller, and it achieved amazing success in France and beyond. So I'm really excited to introduce her to you. I'm excited for our conversation today, and she'll share with us why she decided to do that and what it was like for herself and the authors and this project and bringing the book forward. So today, I want to encourage you to become fully present, to be ready to receive. I'm honored and excited to introduce our guest to you. I know you will love her heart, her spirit, her wisdom, her insight, and her perspective. But again, to receive, we want to be fully present. So take a breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, like through a straw. Beautiful. I encourage you to have a piece of paper ready to be able to take notes so that when you get that insight, that aha, you're able to capture that, process it, and take that insight going forward. Really leaning in to receive all that is here for you. Again, breathing, slowing down, becoming present. This time is just for you, an opportunity to be supported on your journey as you look to bring your book, your wisdom, your insight, and your content forward. So as you are breathing, slowing down, becoming present, let me take a moment to introduce our amazing guest to you. Her name is Sophie Roumeas. She is a #1 international best-selling author multiple times over, workshop facilitator, therapist, mindfulness coach, an innovative consultant, and product developer. She's the creator of Mindful Therapy, and since 2016 has been teaching Alps meditation. She is passionate about helping you release limiting beliefs and step fully into your intuition, your guidance, and to positive transformation. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful, heart-centered, and dynamic Sophie Roumeas to the show. Welcome.
Oh, Rebecca, thank you so much. First of all, warm welcome. Thank you so much. And I'm so happy to be connecting with your audience today. I look forward to be with you all. Thank you.
Thrilled to have you joining us all the way from the French Alps. I know as we're recording the show, it's morning for us, evening for you. So I love that we get to connect around the world in different places and find a real way to connect energetically and technically. And I just think it's such an amazing gift and ability that we have. So I'm just thrilled to have you joining us all the way from the French Alps. And I wanted you to share a little bit about your book. Now, this was an anthology, meaning multiple authors came together and shared under a common theme, and you were the compiler, the leader of this project. Do you mind sharing what the book was titled, both in French and in English, and the vision of it?
Oh, yeah, indeed, with pleasure. So the book is about the story of 13 ladies. 12 out of the 13 wrote a chapter because they have something in common which is not usual. Of course, they are all women, but they all lived an experience of life which we call breast cancer at an early age. And when I met them as a group during a week of therapies with an amazing organization in mountains, they were all so incredibly centered, heart-centered for their family, for their friends, and then they learned how to center to themselves, to give to themselves what they needed. And they have so many things to express. So this is how we met. And I met them. I was blown away by their incredible energy. And so a few weeks later, I felt that I wanted to write a book with ladies already a few months ago. But then when I met them, this specific group of young ladies, I thought, well, 3 out of them said they wanted to write about their experience about breast cancer. And so I suggested to them if they wanted to have this journey all together, to write all together a book, each of them having a chapter, and they said yes. When we met the first time, it was in December 2020, and we already had the title of the book. So, meaning in French, the title is J'ai vécu la même chose que toi. When we translate in English, this is I too have lived it.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And I love that you had that seed planted in your heart even before you met them, that you wanted to bring women together and share something. And then when you did meet, you felt that prompting in your heart and your spirit, and you followed up, and there was an echo there to come together, that they also felt that pull to be part of that and to share their stories as all survivors of breast cancer, and what they learned and how they were moving forward and building their life from there, and to really share some of that wisdom and insight and really what it was like in the journey. And I love that you followed that through. And, backstory, you and I have known each other for a while. And
you have a joy.
Oh, thank you. I feel the same. And you have had on your heart since we talked and met early on that you really wanted to keep building this bridge between French and American. You kept wanting things that combine, like that was so on your heart. And you were always looking for ways to build a bridge or combine. You even led an international summit that was translated into French and English. And so to me, you're just continuing to do things like to really bring those languages together, to bring people together in such a powerful way with different perspective, different ways of looking at language. And what a rich experience it has been for me to watch and to be able to participate in some of those things and to read some of these chapters that are in this powerful book. I mean, it's such an impactful book, and it's so from the heart, and there's lots of wisdom and storytelling kind of mixed together in this powerful book. Anything you would add to that?
Yes, with pleasure, Rebecca. First, I love that you mentioned that we met a few time ago already, a few years ago. And I really loved the lead you give to us people who maybe we want to write somehow, we want to express, we want to share with people, with an audience, what we have in our heart, in our soul. And that you help us to make it become real. And indeed, I remember I had this feeling when I met you that you are the person, you are an amazing mentor, and you help us to become authors. Some people you have met are already authors, and they already have skills and the confidence of it. But you also welcome people like me who didn't have yet the skill, and then you mentor us, and you somehow you care that we can become the best version of ourselves to express and to help people to express too. Indeed, I wanted to make this book in French first because all the ladies are French. Maybe someday it can become in English, but we don't know it yet. But I thank you so much that you believed in us enough that you could help us, even from a French perspective, and also raising the awareness of this book in your own community to support us for the launching of a book. I'll never forget it. And the ladies are also very happy about that. I want to mention that probably in the very beginning when we met, all of us, it was a Skype call and we discussed all together about what we wanted to do with this book, our collective intention. So with keywords, all of us, we all gave one or two keywords that then became, let's say, how we call it, a kind of collective intention, but almost like a hologram for the book. How we wanted the book to raise awareness about what does really happen in the life of these ladies who go through breast cancer experience, who need to heal for themselves, for their families, and some ladies were young mothers, and even one of them was pregnant when she received her, how do we call it, that she had this illness to go through. So I wanted to talk about the universal agenda, because you are the best one for that. You know how to make things happen when someone has this idea coming from the heart. Indeed, it was our case. And then how to make it happen. So you know how to help us to go into the universal agenda, that when finally we go to the date of launching, everything is ready. And God, we know it was not so easy because our book was full of many things, technical things to handle to make it happen. July 2022.
Yeah. Well, it was an honor and exciting to bring it forward. The chapters were and are so powerful, and I love how you're talking about. So, thank you. I'm very honored, and I think all of us tapped into what was called to be and honored that. The journey of this book, the journeys that your authors went on, and being called to be seen and to being called and brought forth. And I feel like we all came together to honor that and to celebrate it and to lean in. And when we do that, I think magic happens. Like it all becomes what it's supposed to be and received. And I think there was a common heartbeat among all of us, everyone on the team, every one of the authors, that we are here to bring this forward and to honor those stories, to honor this book, and to have it reach the hearts that it's called to reach in the language that it's called to be launched and released in. And I love that we got to be part of that. And when we come back, we're getting ready to go to our first commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit of how that translated into best-selling and what some of the numbers and things looked like. But it really started with Sophie and this seed being planted in her heart, following it, letting it become and bloom and grow, having the authors come together again with that common heartbeat and calling, and even all the way through the publishing to launch, honoring how it is called to be, when it is called to be, and then supporting the way it was called to be brought forward. So as we go to our first commercial break, I want you to think about the things you're called to bring forward. The messages, have you tapped in and asked when it's supposed to be brought forward? How? What is the timing? What is the language? What is the way? What are the platforms? Who is it called to reach? I mean, checking in. So, because sometimes we can get in our head the way we think it should be and logically the way we plan it out. I think it's so important we tap into where we're being led to and make sure that we're tapping into that wisdom, we're listening, and we're receiving that guidance. So with that, take these next 2 minutes to check in, take in what serves, and we'll continue our conversation in just a moment.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
Explore the poetry of Sam Yao. His book of poems, Soul's Journey, is a #1 international bestseller. Sam is a contemporary poet with a unique and highly relatable poetic style to convey the essence of spiritual truths for our time. Readers will find beauty, inspiration, and healing in his words. Get his book, Soul's Journey, today on Amazon.com or visit SamYaoPoetry.com. That's Sam, Y-A-U, Poetry.com. Rebecca Hall-Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit Facebook.com/Voice America.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed having an opportunity to just take in the beautiful energy and information that is being shared with you. I hope you took a moment to check in and see with what you are creating, what you're bringing forward. Feel into the timing, the format, the language, the style, and feel into what is being called forth and how being open to receiving that information. Sometimes we can get stuck in how we think it needs to be or the way we think it should be structured from the mind, and we forget to check in with our guidance and our spirit. So I encourage you to do that and just see. It'll either confirm and give you that direction, yes, that's all in alignment, or it may bring additional information or another way to look at things than you have considered before. So it's always great to check in. Now, we were talking a little bit about the book that Sophie launched and led, that as the compiler, the leader of that project. And I promised when we got back, I would share some of the numbers. So we shared a little bit of the story of how they met, why they decided to bring their stories forward, and even following that guidance that it was supposed to be released in French, and they did decide to do a best-selling campaign. And we were even a little bit nervous because a lot of the market space we were going to be launching it to, we felt were English-speaking, and we just weren't quite sure how it would all come together, but we followed the guidance, we followed what we were led to do, and we were all in. And what ended up happening is not only did the book become a bestseller, it became a #1 bestseller. In fact, it became a #1 international bestseller. It became a bestseller in 4 countries, France, US, Canada, and Brazil, reaching a total of 48 best-selling categories, 15 of them ranking #1. Amazing, powerful, wonderful results. And the book was in the #1 spot for a long time, and it kept being there, correct? Right? So,
yeah, indeed. Yeah, and the paper book, when it became the paper book, because first of the launching was the digital book, like the Kindle book, in exactly a Kindle version for the people. And when the paper book came, so the people were excited to have the book in their hands. So it became #1 again in France, and for quite a few days. So the ladies were so excited, and so I'm still excited for them, because so I need to confess something. When we made the first, meeting all together, I'm pretty sure some ladies felt, okay, maybe this day will become a book someday, or maybe we will never be published, but we'll take the right to write all together. Mm-hmm. And finally, the book was not only published, but with your help, with your support of you, Rebecca, your amazing team, indeed, we were able to reach beautiful numbers, and the ladies could not believe it until they also had to integrate themselves, the whole experience. And so it extended the experience than we already had altogether a few months now to really take their place, that people who know them and people who don't know them are able to read this amazing experience of life, where people can still die about breast cancer. They overcome it. They really fighted it. And they were able to describe some intimate experience. And you mentioned earlier about the style, the language, the style. All of the ladies had the free will to make their chapters the way they wanted. Mm-hmm. Some of them used metaphors. Some of them were of really describing the daily life and their pains, but also their joy and their hopes and inspirations. And some of them are very poetic. So all of them, they really captured the essence of themselves into each of their chapters. So the whole book is a kind of patchwork. It's like a kaleidoscope of this experience of life, which is far from being usual experience. Even if nowadays in America, in France, in many countries, 1 lady out of 8 can develop a breast cancer, which is big number. Yeah. So these ladies took the courage to share with us all their story. And so, of course, as they were already a group, so we decided to make an anthology that each of them had their time, space to express themselves, but in the way they wanted, meaning there was no guideline about the style. They really took the chance to express themselves in their own style. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I love it. I love your description of the kaleidoscope or patchwork quilt. Like it is. It's such a rich experience, but from chapter to chapter, they're very different. And but they're very much who each of the authors is. And mm-hmm. I think that creates a really rich reader experience, and enjoying that and really hearing different perspectives and the wisdom and insight. And I think for all people, the overcoming something, the lessons learned when you face something so challenging in yourself, and the choices we make and the perspective we gain and the wisdom we learned. And I found myself reflecting on life and choices, and I found it very empowering and rich. And every chapter that I read, I gained a different perspective. I gained new insight and new wisdom. So I congratulate all of you in coming together, and I celebrate that this book has been shared and it's out in the world and making a powerful difference. And as you reflect on that and the numbers and kind of look back on the journey, do you have a piece of advice or wisdom or something you learned along the way that we can pass along to our listeners who are writers or looking to bring their book forward or have brought their book forward and are continuing to bring more forward? Any wisdom or piece of advice you could give them?
Oh, yes, with pleasure. This is something that I remember from you when I had a chance to participate to the first anthology, my first anthology with you and all the amazing co-authors, the book Step Into Your Brilliance. Mm-hmm. It was a few days before the launch. It was a few weeks exactly before the launch in time. And it was in 2019. And you felt, because you have this beautiful intuition and experience with co-authors for anthologies. And you sent to all of us a message saying, maybe some of you have doubts of what you are doing by publishing your chapter because you are sharing with people intimate experiences of yourself, of your life. But just remember, if your chapter is meant to touch only one person, this is the most important. All the other things, the most important thing you are meant to touch, meaning one person, which is already amazing. And it stayed with me. Maybe it was not your exact word, but it's the way it landed into my soul and my heart. And I gave it to the ladies of this book because the more we came closer to the launch, some of them, felt, some of them were excited happily, some of them were a little bit anxious or nervous. And then I gave to them what you said to me. And it's kind of message that it's a piece of wisdom that you gave to us. When we feel from inside, we need to express something in writing. This is meant to be. This is meant to touch some people. We don't need to think about how many people. If it's one person, it's worth to do it anyway. And we know it's always more than one person. So this is one thing I wanted really to share about you, Rebecca, that you allow me also to share it with the ladies, my co-authors in this book. And another thing I'd like to share is that the launching of a book is not the end of the adventure. This is the beginning of a new adventure, is how to make this book having the best trajectory. And I want to share that one of the ladies, who is also the one who made this beautiful drawing on the cover page, she's becoming the ambassador for her town for the month of October. This is the month of raising awareness about cancer. So the pink month, she's becoming the ambassador for her city. And she's able to speak about the book and about the adventure and to give hope, inspiration to other people.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Just so much to take in and to celebrate and appreciate. So I love that landed with you so deeply, that honoring that call, that there's a reason that we have that pull on our heart, the reason we have that calling. And I know for myself, when I get nervous or afraid or intimidated, or I wonder how it'll be received, I go back and I remember that pull, that call at my heart. And if it can make a difference, my sharing here today, whether it's in a presentation, a blog, speaking, if something I can share today can make a difference for another, that's enough for me. I'm willing to be scared, to be stretched, to be nervous if it can make a difference for another. And I hope more are touched, but one is enough. And I can always feel in and know that there's someone out there that needs that one. And that helps me take those steps and move forward. And I love that is something you were able to pass on and share with your ladies, because I do find that time before launch, before it's released to the world, tends to be where people get the most nervous and start to second guess and start to get afraid. And so to remind them and ground them in that truth, the roots again, I think is so important and so powerful. And I love that you now have one of your co-authors. I celebrate with you and I celebrate with them, the artist of your beautiful cover, which I love. I'll have you describe it in a moment, that she is now becoming an ambassador for her, is it her province or her, what is the town? What is the correct term?
For her town, for her city. The town required to her. So they asked her to become their ambassador. Yeah.
Oh, what an honor. How beautiful for October to really represent cancer awareness. So thank you for sharing that. I celebrate that with you. I celebrate that with her. Excited. And would you mind describing your beautiful cover? It's very distinctive and very impactful.
Well, yes, thank you so much. So this is the face of a lady. This is a beautiful face of a lady, and there is not so much colors, only slices of pink, and the lady is part of her face is covered. By the way, it's like a jewelry of flowers, of fresh flowers. So this lady is very peaceful on her face, and we can say she's almost like reflecting or meditating. And she's peaceful, and she is accompanied by nature with these beautiful flowers. So it's a very simple drawing that she made herself, being inspired by pictures she saw around her. And then it was, for her, one of her favorite time during the time she was, taking her X-rays and so on for fighting the cancer. Her free time was drawing. So one day when we were, brainstorming all the ladies together and to choose the cover of a book. And so we had already, a great person who gave us some ideas. And when she came up with her drawing that she made really simply on a piece of paper, she sent it to all of us and she says, "What do you think, girls, about this thing? I feel it could be great to have something like that." And the something like that was exactly the cover of the book. We said, "Oh, it's so beautiful." So we all voted that it would become the cover of our book. And she was so happy because probably it was also a sign for her that she's a drawer. She's a force. She's driving force into her drawings, that she's also connecting with her higher self, and that she can also inspire other people, even when it is not easy time, that creativity can really help everybody to go through difficult times. And we're so happy and honored to be able to honor her too. Yes.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for sharing. I didn't know all of that behind the drawings. I really appreciate knowing that. It just makes it that much richer to know some of the backstory behind her beautiful work, and absolutely an artist. And there's such a beautiful energy and flow and feel in the drawing. To me, as you look at different covers and you're online on Amazon, that's where you can get the book, to me, you just stop and see it. You can't help but see it and be drawn in and pause for a moment and look. And I think that's her. So her drawing's very impactful, and I think it's the perfect cover for your book. Again, feeling in and really leading where you're being guided in that, I just see as a consistent pattern for all of you in bringing this powerful book forward. Now, we are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. So as we do that, listeners, I want you to think about what Sophie has shared and some of your thoughts about covers, or again, that tapping in and bringing forward, remembering if you can make a difference for one, if that can just quiet the noise a little bit, sometimes the anxiety that can come up, to bring forward what you're called to bring forward. And we'll continue our conversation in just a moment.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
Explore the poetry of Sam Yao. His book of poems, Soul's Journey, is a #1 international bestseller. Sam is a contemporary poet with a unique and highly relatable poetic style to convey the essence of spiritual truths for our time. Readers will find beauty, inspiration, and healing in his words. Get his book, Soul's Journey, today on Amazon.com or visit SamYaoPoetry.com. That's Sam, Y-A-U, Poetry.com. Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit Facebook.com/Voice America.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that moment, that pause, an opportunity to breathe and really integrate what serves. Check in. It's always great to take notes as you are listening to shows and programs like this, because it's amazing when you slow down, create that space to really take in and learn, be poured into. It's amazing the insights that will bubble up. So I encourage you to capture those, have that piece of paper ready, and at the end of the show, take a glance at your paper and really look at 1 to 2 things you can implement right away and take with you. Don't just rush back out on the day. Take a couple minutes at the end of the time together today to really choose some action to attach to what you've learned or the insight that has bubbled up, so you can move it forward and bring it forward so it can touch the hearts and lives that your book, your content, your information is being called forth to do. So thrilled to have you joining us. Sophie, I wanted to take a moment and have you share where they can get your book. So if you can give the title again and the best way people can find your book on, I know it's on Amazon, it might be other places too. Can you share the best way for them to find your beautiful book?
Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Indeed, the book is available on Amazon as a Kindle or as a paper book. So the title in English, so that probably you can find, but I too have lived it. As a book is in French, still so far, the French title is J'ai vécu la même chose que toi. I don't know if it's, maybe we can have a title written perhaps below the comments in the episode. Yep. So indeed, Amazon is a place because it's print on demand. So it's the best way to be able to send a book as far as it's supposed to fly. And we also have a website which is currently translated in English, so which is www.kfighters.com.
Beautiful.
So and then when it's translated in English, we will share it with pleasure.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting us know, and we can look in. Can they also find it by, if they did a search by your name, is that another way? Kind of depending on. So do you mind spelling your name for them as well?
Indeed. So my name is Sophie Roumeas. So Sophie, Sophie, and my name Roumeas is Roumeas. And indeed, you can check on my website or also on Amazon, and then you will also discover the books that I had a chance to be part with you, Rebecca, as well. So Step Into Your Brilliance in 2019 and The Bright Spots in 2020, last October. And so I look forward to see your audience also launch their own books with you. It's an amazing adventure. And so if there is one thing to add right now today to the people who may ask themselves, so am I ready to launch my book? Yes or no? I feel that the world is really in need and wants to connect more with the experience of each other, because this is the way we can grow. Technology is serving us, and now we have a chance to be able to spread the messages in different ways, but still a book that someone can take in the hand or read in the intimacy of a room, a bedroom, a living room, on a tablet, is still a way that the person can really take the time to reflect on what he or she reads. So books have a long life. I feel this is a good way for the people to feel that they are not alone, that other people live the same things that they live. So get ready, take your pens, write your books, launch it. You have an amazing team with Rebecca and all her people around. Just do it. You won't regret it.
Thank you, Sophie, for sharing and for that reminder of how important and impactful our words can be. And we would be honored to serve and support any of you that have questions about the publishing process or launching your book, or, what does that involve, and what are some of my next steps. We're always here to support and help you. That's why we created the show, and we are happy to have a conversation and answer your questions. So don't be shy about reaching out. You can even schedule a time on our calendar at meetwithrebecca.com. That's meetwithrebecca.com, and we'll be happy to talk with you and answer questions and support you on your journey to bring your book forward and touch the hearts and lives that it is called to touch. Oh, Sophie, I have so appreciated you spending this time with us today. Thank you for leaning in, sharing your heart, your beautiful project with us. And I was curious, are there any upcoming projects that our listeners may want to know about, or are there ways that they can connect with you directly if they are interested in and feel that pull to have a deeper connection with you? What is the best way for them to do that? And if there are some upcoming projects, we'd love to hear about them.
Oh, yes. Thank you for the opportunity. So indeed, in February, this past February, we created a summit talking about how to heal the family tree. So it speaks about psychogenealogy. And we will be launching the second digital summit in November. And so we'll be able to give a date to the people in a few days on the website. So www.healingthefamilytree.com. So it will come in a few weeks, in a few months now. So with amazing people who will continue to talk with us on how to have the best heritage from our family tree, to feel at peace with our lineages, and so to live the best out of our incarnation these days. Mm. And also the second project, we have another anthology with co-writers that will come in the next month, and it will speak about people who change their life somehow, that we all have to go through some point in our lives. So how to make the step of changing. It can be, yes, work or personal life, changing from the country for any reason it is. So yes, another anthology, having a beautiful journey with co-authors to speak about change in life. Yeah.
Beautiful. I love it. Well, thank you for sharing with us, for joining us today. We'll be watching for that summit, your upcoming anthology. I'm excited. There's more that we'll get to experience with you. And I just, again, appreciate you taking the time with us. I can't wait to see all of the places your beautiful book will touch, the hearts and lives. It's called to touch, especially with October coming, cancer awareness. I think there's just such a need for this book, and I know it can serve so many hearts and lives and families with the wisdom and insight in it. So thank you for the timing, the care, the willingness to shepherd and bring it forward. And listeners, thank you for leaning into this time together. I hope that this conversation has supported you, has served you, that you've gotten some great tips or insights, encouragement to help you bring it forward. And I love how Sophie said her tip, just do it. Bring it forward. Honor that is being called forth, and that's enough, and follow the steps so that people who need what you have to say, what you have to write, what you have to bring forward can receive it. So remember that you are a gift. What you're called to bring forward in your voice, your perspective, your way, your style is absolutely needed in the world, and it's being called forth. So keep taking those steps on your journey to bring your message forward, to bring your book forward. And we are all here cheering you on. If we can be of support in any way, know that we are happy to do so. And we look forward to talking to you next week.
Thank you for tuning in to The Author's Journey. Please join Rebecca Hall Greider for another edition of the Author's Journey podcast every Monday on the Voice America Variety Channel. And until we talk again, use some of the tips and inspiration from today's show to guide you as you lean in to bringing your message forward.